victims. They can both survive. He sees her hesitate though, and tries to explain how similar their situations are.
I know exactly how you feel.
And then, wait for it. Hey guys, my name's Dan, and today's reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is Would You Rather 2012 Kill Count. Now, this isn't the normal horror movie that I go out of my way to watch. I know it gets a lot of comparisons to Saw, but I wasn't really the biggest Saw fan either. But we'll get more into that as this video goes on, and then of course at the very end. But we'll also find out, more importantly, just how exactly this movie was made. So if you enjoy other kill counts, I've reacted to many of them for you to enjoy. And if you want to see future reactions that I do, you can go right below this video, click that like button, the subscribe button, and notification bell. Because not only does it let you see past, present, and future reactions that I do, but it also helps the old algorithm. Then go on over and support Dead Meat if you haven't already. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. And without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Would You Rather, an indie thriller released in 2012. Would You Rather is a death game movie, which have been quite popular lately, with the most successful modern iteration, of course, Netflix's Squid Game. Just like with Squid Game, Would You Rather functions as a statement on class, showing how the wealthy often treat the disadvantaged as playthings, exploiting their tough situations for amusement. Though it's a common theme in storytelling, it was extra salient when this movie was released, premiering at Screamfest a year after Occupy Wall Street occurred. Like the Blumhouse film Truth or Dare, Would You Rather started as a mere movie title. Writer Stephen Schlachtenhaufen texted it to director David Guy Levy, and within a month they had a few pages of the script and $500,000 in financing. Their resultant low-budget bottle film is one of the most miserable movies I've ever seen. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I always try to judge a film based on what it's trying to do. Would You Rather is trying to make you feel totally devastated, and by that measure, it's a resounding success. Jeffrey Combs, one of my all-time favorite screen performers, gives a performance as memorable as his iconic turn in Reanimator. Dr. Herbert West was an unethical anti-hero, but Shepard Lambrick is one of the most despicable characters from any film I've ever covered on this channel. The glee with which he lords his power over his victims is disgusting. Surrounding him is an exceptional cast, playing characters who find themselves in an unwinnable power struggle for survival. This is a damn good movie, and boy is it difficult to watch. Might be easier to get through with a fine glass of wine. Would you rather I keep going with this intro or start talking about the kills? Good answer. Let's get to them.
Yeah.
The movie begins with a job interview, but Iris ain't getting the job. Bad news for her, since she needs the money to take care of her brother Raleigh. Their parents are gone and he's got leukemia, so they're buried beneath a mountain of medical bills. Raleigh feels guilty that his sister's life revolves around him. She's clearly stressed, but still wants to help her brother. Iris is played by Brittany Snow, recently seen in Ty West's X, while Raleigh is played by two-time room escape artist Logan Miller. Iris meets with Raleigh's oncologist Dr. Barden, played by Lawrence Gilliard Jr. of The Wire and The Walking Dead. He says he has one weird trick for her to cut down on medical costs. It involves Shepard Lambrick, played by Jeffrey Combs, who literally chews scenery in the background. Director Levy and writer Schlachtenhaufen patterned Shepard Lambrick after Christoph Waltz's performance in Inglourious Basterds. When Combs came up as a possible actor, they sent him the script immediately. He tore off whatever Star Trek makeup he was wearing at the time and signed on 48 hours later, thanking them for writing such a sinister role. Lambrick is a powerful man whose family wealth extends all over the world. He says he can use this power and wealth to help out Iris's brother. All she has to do is join him for dinner, then win a game she plays with the other guests.
The evening will culminate with a game of sorts, and the winner will be taken care of.
Smart and skeptical, Iris questions the proposition.
But is this legit?
Dr. Barden says it is. It's too legit to quit. In fact, he's a previous winner of one of Lambrick's games, and the reward saved his life. Without it, he might still be selling drugs in the pit. Later though, after Iris leaves, we see that Barden bella aches about signing her up for this. Lambrick tells him to shut up and take more money. Otherwise, he can just
get a job in a sideshow.
Despite her misgivings, Iris is too deep in debt to decline Lambrick's offer. She's picked up in a town car and taken to the the Lambrick estate, a towering mansion played by Artemisia. This Hollywood Hills home, built in 1913, runs the movie's major setting an authentic whiff of old money. Iris is brought inside by Bevins the butler, who puts her at ease with sparkling conversation.
Pretty.
Yes,
She is the 8th and final participant to arrive. 2 of her fellow gamers, Lucas and Cal, are friendly and introduce themselves to her. You can tell Lucas likes her since he busts out the thesaurus.
As you can see, they're not exactly gregarious.
Indubitably. Iris eyeballs the competition with insight from her new clique. Wheelchair user Linda, played by shameless laundromat owner June Squibb, gambling man Peter, played by trailer park patron saint Rob Wells, standoffish Amy, played by former adult film star Sasha Grey, conspiracy-minded Conway, played by Chud Hunter John Hurd, and Iraq War veteran Travis, played by Madman Charlie Hoffheimer. I know that's a lot all at once, but don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to get to know them, or most of them. Iris, Lucas, and Cal toast their fast and not at all ill-fated friendship. They and the others are forced to hand over their phones and wallets, then are seated at the banquet table to kick off the night's events. Shepard Lambrick appears from beyond and introduces Julian, his fuckboy failson. This character was crafted specifically for Robin Lord Taylor, who seemed like one of the best parts of Gotham from what little I saw. He's perfectly detestable here as well. Julian has his father's psychopathy mixed with a big dash of incompetence. That's what we call the old Joffrey Baratheon. Wine and a fancy dinner are served, but it's meat-based, a problem for the vegetarian Iris. This inspires Lambrick to play a demo of their game. Dr. Mordred wants Iris to eat the meat.
I refuse to accept that you don't have a price.
Yeah, come on, lady. Eat that meat! After a bit of back and forth, Iris finally breaks down for $10,000. As if his flex of money wasn't insulting enough, Lambrick makes it an insult too with some savage mockery.
A lifetime of discipline and commitment to cause wiped away by a mere $10,000.
Oh, you pinkskins. With blood in the water, Lambrick next turns to Conway, noticing that he's not imbibing the wine. Conway says he's a recovering alcoholic, not that it's any of Lambrick's business. And that's when the bloom comes off the benefactor.
You are here essentially begging me for money. How is it not my business?
He offers Conway $10K to drink a glass of wine, and when that doesn't work, ups the temptation to $50,000 if he'll drink a whole decanter of scotch. Conway tries to resist, explaining how hard he's worked to stay sober, but John Hurd lets us know with a heartbreaking glance that he needs this stack of cash. How else will he pay off Kevin's hotel room service bill? Like Iris, he relents, hoping this one moment of weakness will be worth it if it means improving his life. Even if it does, it's still humiliating, thanks to the way Lambrick treats these people like they're his toys. I love how Lambrick was introduced eating nuts and leaving the shells on the couch. It's symbolic of how he takes what he wants and is fine leaving a mess behind. With dinner and debasement over, it's time for the titular game.
Would you rather?
And lest you get your hopes up, they ain't gonna play the slumber party way.
You're gonna make us kiss each other?
Sorry, Linda. Tonight, you don't get to be a boner donor. Instead of 7 minutes in heaven, the first round is 15 seconds in hell. That's how long players will have to make a decision. If they don't decide or refuse to choose, they're eliminated. The last person remaining will win the prize money. Cal questions why Lambrick's philanthropy is only available through competition.
Couldn't you help all of us? Why does this have to be a game?
Because, dude, this maniac in a mansion sucks. He'd rather run a social experiment and break people down for shits and gigs than actually put his limitless wealth towards helping to improve their lives. He gives them all one final chance to leave. Conway briefly considers going home alone, but the thought of more money keeps his blood in his seat. His butt changes its mind when he sees a card battery rolled in by Bevins, who Lambrick reveals is a former MI5 interrogator. With that information, Conway goes to leave, but Shepard says that offer has expired, and he means it. With that, the game has officially begun. I guess you could call that the shot John heard around the world. This inflection point is so impactful, even though we knew it was gonna happen. Especially today, when death game movies are everywhere, and this tragic turning point always occurs the first time someone gets killed. I just love the way the audio drops out as these actors do a great job selling how terrifying this would be. Once everyone is coerced back into their seats, Lambrick goes over the rules for this first round of the game. It's Dr. Vannicutt's electroshock therapy. Each player will be given the choice to jolt a neighbor in the brain, or instead, ride the lightning themselves. Hope they made sure to wet the sponges first. Cal is first up to zap, having to choose between himself and Amy. He takes the gentleman's way out and eats voltage. If his violent reaction seems especially genuine, that's because actor Eddie Steeples volunteered to get tased so he would be familiar with the pain.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Amy's no shrinking Violet de Winter, and her joy shows that she's not here to make friends. She doubles down on her killer instinct by choosing to shock Linda before the question can even finish his question. Linda is next, and unable to face a second jolt, she opts to fry Peter, but that feels like his brain is short-circulating. The reactions from the other actors here are authentic in their own way. Director Levy would scare them with the sound of a real taser during takes. Next up, Lucas and Travis are in the hypothetically hot seats. Good guy Lucas says he'll take one for the team, so Travis obliges and sends the current his way. Lucas then chooses to shock himself a second time instead of passing it on to Iris. Unlike the smirking Amy, Lucas wants the players to band together and look out for each other. For the final decision of Jumper Cable Chicken, Iris lends Cal some kindness and takes the hit instead of subjecting him to a double dip. Lambrick applauds their Duracell-like durability and steps away to ready the next challenge. Some of the players start to plot how they can group up and get out of there, but before anyone can act on anything, Julian pops in to say hello. His opinion, like his father's, is that these people deserve what they get.
You know, you agreed to be here.
Comments like this from the Lambrick men play into the themes of classism and power dynamics within capitalism. Sometimes people choose to do things so they and their loved ones can survive, but when the choice is life or death, is there really any choice at all? Travis the vet insults Lambrick the Lesser, earning a spot on his shit list. Feller gets so worked up, he starts yelling at the top of his tiny little lungs. He tells the house staff to give the dining room a Patrick Bateman makeover. These plastic sheets are for round 2, where players will have 30 seconds to choose between the pick and the stick. They can either stab one player in the leg or beat another with an African whipping staff.
Just one.
Jambach.
Yes, a jambach. You know he loves correcting people about that. Iris is up first, forced to choose between ice-picking Cal or jambaching Travis. Travis assures her he can handle the pain, so she gives him the whip. Nah, not love taps. Lambrick likes it when you play rough. Sorry, Amber, you can't stop the beating. Director Levy chose not to show the actual whip strikes, only the wind-ups and the aftermath. He wanted to distance Would You Rather from the so-called torture porn that was still lingering around the genre in 2012. It's still a pretty gnarly aftermath though. That Oxford is fucked. Next up, Lucas has to choose between stabbing Iris and whipping Travis. Yep, option B is Travis once again, thanks to that shit-eating cobblepot. Lucas and Travis agree that a thigh stab is too dangerous, and so the soldier takes 3 more lashes for the troop. His turn is next, but he doesn't get a break. He can either stab Lucas in the leg or receive 3 lashings from Mr. Bevendier. Lucas begs the vet to stab him, but Travis refuses to break their solidarity. He bites down on his tie and takes his licks, but unfortunately for him, Bevins has beautiful form. In the deafening silence afterwards, Lambrick sees a teachable moment.
It's just like life, isn't it?
You either get stabbed by ice pick or beaten by jambach?
There's no do-overs.
Oh, that was my second guess.
Yeah,
Next up is Peter, who can either whip the motionless Travis or stab Linda. The shrewd gambler reasons that Travis is close to death and asks Linda if he can stab her thigh since she can't feel anything below her waist. She reluctantly agrees, and Peter tries to poke her gently, but he hits that pesky artery and a June squib bursts, causing an eruption of red gold. Open wound be damned, it's Linda's turn. She wants revenge on Amy for that shock earlier, so she jabs the young woman before the countdown even starts. Amy gives her a receipt, which goes against rich guy blood sport etiquette, but our Rat King is too tickled at Linda's surprise savagery to care. Vinny Chase's girlfriend is next, with a choice of hitting Travis or stabbing any player she'd like. She tells everyone else that teamwork is for suckers. This game is about being the last one standing. She decides to go after a healthy competitor and smash cuts Iris in the chest, but amateur physician Lucas diagnoses it as just barely missing her lung. Iris puts her hand on the wound, and the movie agrees to never bring it up again. Travis passes out from his injuries, and though he's still breathing right now, Linda is not. Damn, Peter, you fucked up. Could someone please offer him some comfort?
Stabbed an old woman, Peter.
That's not helping. Nasty man. Confirmed by Bevins, Linda dies from the stab wound in her thigh. Iris cries as Linda's wheeled off to the big Nebraska in the sky. The last to play in this round is Cal, who must poke Lucas or put Travis out of his misery. With Amy's survival of the fittest theory weighing down on him, he opts to kill the mostly dead man. The goody two-shoes side of the table disagrees with his decision, but Cal doesn't see it as much of a decision at all. He lays into Travis until he's basically dead. Bevins does say he's got hours or even days left before he bleeds out, but his body is removed to die with dignity in a broom closet somewhere, so for our purposes, he's going on the count. As Shepard begins planning the next round of the game, the remaining players see an opportunity. On the count of no! They start fighting for their lives, except for Amy. She just watches without helping. Cal beats a guard with the jambak, Peter chases Julian under the table, and Lucas proves he's good at guard grappling. Iris stabs a guy, and with Lucas's encouragement, bails on this lame-ass party. No finger foods or nothing. Cal decides to take that jambak and violate Lambrick's territorial bubble. Unfortunately for him, Lambrick brought a gun to a jambak fight. With this decalibration, the insurrection is put down.
Cal.
It's a quick, cruel snuffing out of this movie's one moment of hope. Lambrick sends Bevins to find Iris, and Julian volunteers to help. She runs around, looking for an exit and avoiding Alfred Hitchcock, but eventually Julian finds her. Against his daddy's directions, Julian assaults Iris and tries to rape her, telling her he can get away with it because she's powerless.
No one is gonna believe you, kid. No one.
Iris fights back by kneeing Julian in his lamb dick and stabbing him in the leg with the ice pick. This movie has more thigh trauma than a KFC. And hey, no matter what else happens in this movie, at least we got to see this fucker get stabbed. Out of absolutely nowhere, Dr. Barden shows up to help. Okay, it wasn't really out of nowhere. Throughout the movie, we've been checking in with him as he drinks out of guilt for handing Iris over to that tainted cheat. He drove himself over to the Lambrick estate and broke in to ask, "Where the fuck is Iris?" "We're the girls, Shep." Bing, bang, boom. Now we're back in the present. Aw, shit! And he's presently dead, thanks to Bevins with another headshot. Barden's side plot gives huge Dick Halloran vibes, but at least his scenes offered brief respites from the torment of Shepard's game. Though Julian demands the butler kill Iris as well, Bevins shuns the lad and offers up the closest thing to compassion any of these psychopaths can muster.
"I'm sorry, Iris, but we're not through playing."
He returns with Iris and reports to Lambrick what his bad adult boy tried to do. Pops leaves to discipline him personally, maybe lock him in a glass cage or something, and Iris learns that Cal was killed while she was gone. That pretty much solidifies things for her. Amy's right, these people are never going to let them leave. Our Brainiac returns and apologizes for Iris's injustice, while also making excuses for his awful son's assault.
Since the loss of his mother, my son lacks restraint.
Moments like this are probably what Lambrick uses to convince himself he's not a bad guy. He is, of course, a true blue grade A piece of shit.
100%.
But Jeffrey Combs' performance gives the character a nasty self-righteousness. Seriously, Combs is having a ball in this role, and it's the only thing that keeps this movie from being impossibly dour to watch. Round 3 could be called the Donkey Kong round, because it's all about that barrel, motherfuckers! This one pits the pendulum between the known and the unknown. The players can choose to spend 2 minutes underwater in the barrel, or face a unique mystery challenge hidden inside the envelopes in front of them. Peter's up first, and he gives a long Vicini-like explanation of game psychology. When he's done, he chooses the envelope, revealing a picture of a firecracker. He's got a—
Yes, because I don't know about you guys, but comfortably, because I actually did it while watching, because a lot of times when stuff like that comes up in movies, I'll be like, how long can I hold my breath for? And comfortably, 40 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. 2 minutes, I'd probably be dead.
Hold it as it goes off, so worst case Ontario, he gets a little burn. Except this ain't no ladyfingers. It's a quarter stick of dynamite that Bevins tapes inside his fist. Lambrick distances himself as the fuse is lit, which was actually done to protect Combs' wardrobe. That suit was on loan and production didn't have a spare. Lambrick points out that Peter might get lucky with the dud, but unfortunately for this gambler, the house always wins, and his fingers wind up all over the walls. The others wipe Peter's pulverized pinky pieces off themselves as he falls to the floor convulsing. He dies, not from his hand exploding, but instead tapping out to a heart attack. What are the odds? Lucas also opts for the envelope, and the card inside has a picture of an eye. Does that mean he gets to kiss Iris? Nah, he's not so lucky.
You must slit open your eye.
This Shenandoah moment is
I hated
foreshadowed
this.
by the movie's theatrical poster, but Would You Rather doesn't have Hostel's budget or intent. After much deliberation, Lucas does the deed, but the camera whips away from the ocular disfigurement. Iris still has—
Because I thought 100% they were going to show it, and the entire time I was thinking about them showing it, I'm like, oh god, I don't want it, I don't like it. But fortunately, we were okay here. And like, Smack my mic.
See
Sorry
it
about
though,
that.
and that convinces her to choose the barrel. Bevins assists her beneath the water surface, but she thinks of who she's doing this for and survives the potential drowning. This impresses her tormentors.
You know, this is designed to actually drown people.
Good thing she picked the barrel too. 2 minutes is a lot better than tooth hurdy. That leaves Amy, but before she chooses,
teeth out.
Lambert takes a moment to shatter her so far impenetrable shell. He wonders aloud how long it took her husband to drown their daughter, revealing a tragic backstory that helps explain why she's so jaded and cold. Gets you feeling bad for Amy right as she opens her envelope and learns that her fate is a full 4 minutes in the barrel. Well, Tom Cruise held his breath for 6.5 minutes in MI5, so maybe she can... shit, never mind, she did.
Nope,
Without the
nope.
chance to take a breath, Amy drowns in the barrel as Bevins holds her head down impassively. And that barrel ain't filled with Tromaville toxic waste, so she's not coming back to get revenge on this mob boss.
Nope.
It's down to the final 2, and Lambert says he'd be happy with either of them winning. The final round begins with a coin flip, determining that Iris will go first. She's given a choice: walk away with Lucas right now, both alive but empty-handed, or go for the gold and shoot Lucas dead
gold.
with an antique dueling pistol. Lucas laughs in relief, thinking the choice is obvious. They can both survive. He sees her hesitate though, and tries to explain how similar their situations are.
I know exactly how you feel.
And then, wait for it.
Sister.
Bang!
Motherfucker! Oh man, this ending is such a downer, it makes me miss the mist. You just hate seeing the rich and powerful completely conquer the poor and vulnerable.
It gets worse.
Hell, with Lucas's preference for teamwork, this could be read as symbolic of management busting unions and keeping their workers in competition. In any case, it is devastating. On her way out, Lambert gives Iris a duffel bag full of dough, enough to cover Rally's procedure and her own college education. I hear Barden University is nice. He also secures a bone marrow match for Rally, but doesn't let Iris go without one final twist of the knife.
I believe a thank you is in order.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert.
Oh, please. No. Call me Shep.
Back home, Rally's in bed as Iris remembers she has a hole in her side. Since she don't want the world to see it, because she don't think that they'd understand, she showers the wound away before trying to wake her brother up, only to learn that her gameplay was all in vain. Turns out Rally was tragically serious when he told Iris he wanted her to have her own life. The movie ends in the most bleak way possible, with Rally dead by suicide from an overdose. Well, I'm all out of smiles, and I've got to choose between this very real barrel and this envelope. I'll take the card. Oh, good. It says I have to get to the numbers.
Okay.
9 people died in Would You Rather, and sadly, none of them were the bastards in charge of the game. Of the 9, 2 were women and 7 were men, giving us a more than 2-to-1 ratio of dude victims. Just for funsies, here are the previous kill counts with the same victim count and gender breakdown. I don't know. With a runtime of 93 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 10 1/3 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Conway. It may not be that grandiose, but it's the kill that kicks things off, and I think it's done really well. Traumatizing stuff right there. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Peter, who maybe could have kept playing if he had kept better cardiovascular health. And that's it. Would You Rather came out in 2012, and despite its low budget, I think it holds up 10 years later as an effective, if completely dreadful, movie. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
What's next?
Good evening, my little meaties of the night. It is time to acquaint you with a classic. It is time to introduce you to Count Dracula.
Hell yeah!
I never even heard the name before.
Dracula was the film that launched the Universal Monster movies.
You can believe everything he says. It's all the truth.
Over 90 years old now, it shows its age.
I can imagine.
But its impact is undeniable.
Sure.
Maybe alright, but I have me doubts.
Bela Lugosi creates an icon that has permeated every corner of pop culture. And his Hungarian good looks are shown in close-up after close-up after fucking close-up.
That must be glorious.
Still making all the women around him fall under his spell.
Yes.
This week, watch one of the world's first ever horror hits.
Thanks, it looks very inviting.
And this Friday,
I'm so
tune in
psyched for
the
this!
Kill Count, only on Dead Meat.
I hope you will like it.
Dracula can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platform.
I've seen that movie at least a dozen times. I'm so excited to to rewatch that again. But as far as this one goes, as I said, these types of movies aren't really my cup of tea, but that's not to say it wasn't a good movie. I think it told the story that they were telling to a T. I kind of had that feeling that once she shot that guy in the chest and, you know, it was all done and over with, I had that feeling like, oh no, what if she did it for nothing? What if she did it for nothing? And of course, you know, she did. Finding her brother there, OD'd right on his bed. That was just absolutely tragic. And also, this cast was pretty cool too, because it was one of those casts, at least for me anyway, where I'm like looking around the table and I'm seeing all these people that I've seen from various things throughout the years, but I can never quite place like what their name was or what exactly I've seen him in. One the father from Home Alone, him I certainly recognize, and of course, you know, everyone recognizes Sasha Grey, because who doesn't know who Sasha Grey is? But yeah, that was pretty much the entire cast. Oh, well, Penguin, of course, I'm going to recognize who played Penguin. I watched Gotham from start to finish. So yeah, this movie was actually really good, and again, not really for me. For those of you who enjoy that sort of thing, you definitely got a winner here. So that's going to do it for me here. But before I go, though, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my $5 and up supporters on Patreon: Marvin Espinoza, Cruising, Wolverine 310, Multi-Disturbed 666, Jordan Bird, Lauren Davenport, Capster Cronage, Amber K, Raymond Bright, Joshi, Chris Curtis, Angel Centillon, Gagadi Chima, and Santiago. And if you too like to have your name read at each and every one of my videos, plus many other fun goodies, maybe you're having me react to a past kill count or two, please head on over to patreon.com/Reactor. Link will be right there in the description, or right below this video. Click that join button there, or head right over to my channel page and click that join button there. And if you'd like to have an easier way to get in contact with me, you can head on over and join the channel Discord, where you can chat with others about previous reactions that I've done, or find out just a little bit more about me. And with that being said, comment down below, let me know what did you think about Would You Rather. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Also want to see past reactions I've done to other Dead Meat videos. Got a nice playlist right over there full of them for you. Share this video, subscribe if subscribed already, ring notification bell because of my new videos every single day. And I'll see you guys next time.